Okay, so make it official. Today is February 22nd. I think that's right. 22nd. 7 days left in the month. Plenty of time to keep working, right? Don't get down if you guys aren't at your goals right now. There's plenty of time. You can put in the work. Never give up is kind of our mantra right now. So I'm sticking with that one. So I asked Noelle to be on the call tonight. If you guys don't know, Noelle and I are success partners, and we have the same upline coach. So we did not know each other before Beachbody. Beachbody brought us together, which is pretty awesome. We have been working together for a little bit over a year now, something like that. We have only met once in person at Summit. So if you're not on the wait list yet, get on it. I hope to see all of you there because it is life-changing, and that's coming from the person who wasn't going to go a month before. You can ask Sam's coach, Rachel. She'll tell you. I just told her this week that I was like, remember when you did that call about Summit and then I decided I was going to go and then it was like the best thing ever? She was like, yeah, I actually do remember that. But enough about me. So Noelle has hit Success Club 17 months in a row.
Yep.
Good. So she knows something about running this business. She also loves to write and loves to share her story. And that's kind of why I wanted her to come on tonight and speak to you guys. You know, you probably see her on Facebook sharing her heart and soul. And this new transition in her life of having a baby has been an experience, I know, for her. But I think it's really helped her bring out a different side in herself. And it doesn't mean you have to have a baby to share your story. But I think she's really good with words and just sharing fearlessly her heart and soul. So I'm thankful for her taking time out of her day, and I will let her run the show.
Yay! I love to talk, so this is going to be fun for me. So yeah, I mean, everything that Danielle said, she and I started our Beachbody businesses around the same time. And for us, it really became an outlet to express the things that were going on in our lives. Danielle had just finished grad school, was starting her own career as a young professional. I had just gotten married, trying to figure out what it means to be a wife and what it means to be an independent woman, someone who's happy in her own skin. And I think for both of us, Beachbody became that fun outlet, something to look forward to in our days, because marriage is hard. If you're married, you probably can attest to that. It's really hard to always think of that other person when you're maybe not so happy with how you're feeling in your life, because that was my story. I married my college sweetheart, best guy ever, literally such a wonderful person for someone to have to deal with this crazy person that is me. But I was stuck, literally. I was working in a really dead-end job because there's really no way to go up from being a hostess unless I wanted to be a waitress, and that was never an aspiration of mine. I moved from Washington, D.C. to a small town called Milton, Florida, and I was a journalist. So, yeah, writing has always been a passion of mine. And when I started with Beachbody, it kind of allowed me to start sharing my creative side. And I want to make sure that I say this, that you don't have to be someone who's passionate about writing to create really good and meaningful posts. And I worry that that's something that might hold my own coaches back, because that is something that is a natural skill of mine. But what's beautiful in this business is that we all have natural skills. And we all have a way of connecting with people, because if you didn't, you wouldn't be here. If you didn't care about people, you wouldn't be running a Beachbody business. You wouldn't be putting yourself out there in whatever form that you do. But what we're talking about today is sharing your story on social media, because that is the best platform that we have. You can be an amazing storyteller and share a story in 3 sentences. Honestly, as a journalist, that's kind of what I had to do, and that was the hardest thing for me because I'm a chatty person. So there's no what's the word I'm trying to say? There's no like set formula that you have to follow. What you have to do is find your voice and be able to share it consistently and constantly, which is the same word. I just said it twice. Consistently and constantly. It's not the same word, right? So what I really want to tell you guys is you need to make your mess your message. And that's what life is. Life is a mess. From someone who was, in her first year of marriage, 15 pounds heavier than she was. I'm not going to say I was 15 pounds overweight because I wasn't, but I was 15 pounds of just yuck, of unhappiness. And that's not the way you should, jump into your second year of marriage. I mean, that's like the fun stuff. That's the honeymoon period, right? And now, 2 years later, we're going to have a baby. We're going to have kids. And that's really terrifying. It's awesome. It's fun, but it's terrifying. And, I used to be the type of person who would kind of like hide away when I was scared. And now I have this way of sharing my pain and sharing my struggles and sharing my excitement. So whatever your mess is, you have to find a way to share that because there are so many people out there that can relate to that. I used to never think that, people really cared about the fact that, I'm a military spouse, living in Milton, finding a way to work out and have fun. But you don't understand how many messages I would get from people, and I still do, saying, like, keep doing what you're doing. You're so inspiring. You're encouraging me. They might not be doing a workout program with me, but they're doing something to get unstuck out of their life. And that's what my message is. My message is learning to make yourself a priority. And, learning to make I lost my train of thought. Learning to make yourself a priority and learning how to get unstuck. And that's stuff that I always try to post about in some way. Posting about, and also living unapologetically. So having a fierceness, having a fearlessness, because those are things that I've learned that have gotten me out of my muckiness, out of my depression, out of myself. And that's what I want to share with people. And that's what I want other people to have, that type of hope too. So whatever your message is, if you are someone who is, a young professional who is trying to teach other women how to create their dream life, that's what you need to be posting out every single day. And a prime example of that would be Danielle. I mean, that's what she posts about regularly because that's her message. Now my message is starting to be becoming a mom. And so I'm talking about, my fears and my struggles as well as my excitement. And I was really scared that would isolate me from people. But so far, hasn't been a problem. Maybe I don't think it will be because one of our favorite quotes that I don't know if you've heard Danielle say this, but when you share something genuinely from your heart, people rarely take it negatively. And the ones that do aren't people that you want in your life anyways. I'm out of breath because I talk really fast sometimes and I get excited. But I was looking back at my notes and actually from Summit, Amy Silverman had a talk with Megan Ewaldson. They're both, at the time, there were 2 and 3 top coaches in the company. I think Megan Ewaldson was 3 and Amy Silverman was 2 at the time. And they actually talked about this very topic, leveraging the power of your story. Sorry about that. I don't know how to turn notifications off my computer. I'm not that savvy. But when they were talking about the art of storytelling, these are things that, bullet points that I wrote down, and I wanted to share them with you. Reveal your story in chapters. And again, your story is who you are, what brought you to this moment, and why you're still in this. What are you hoping to achieve? What are you hoping to give people? And revealing that in chapters. So every day, kind of cultivating that. So like I said, if you're a young professional, talking about how maybe you love your job, maybe you hate your job, maybe you have dreams for more. Making a post about that dream and putting it out there for everyone to see as a way of holding you accountable. Sharing, a bit about your marriage, about how you have a supportive spouse and how without him, you probably would have a really hard time believing in yourself, or you wouldn't be able to have a second business on the side because his income helped you do that. you need to be sharing short stories. And this is something I'm definitely working on because I love just writing until I can't anymore. But writing short stories to share with different audiences. So yeah, maybe not everyone can relate to the fact that I'm pregnant, but people can relate to the fact that, I'm working out at a lot lower level than I used to be, and that I can still do it even though I am pregnant. You'd be shocked by how many messages I get from people saying, "Are you still working out even though you're pregnant?" I'm like, dude, it's not the 80s. Working out is okay. Like, you'd be blown away. Like, even moms are like, you shouldn't be working out if you're pregnant. I'm like, I'd rather work out than sit on my couch and get like hemorrhoids or something. That's a real thing that happens, guys. Yeah, it's awful. Look it up. Engage with the audience. So in all of your posts, you need to have some sort of interaction. So you need to be asking questions, sending an invite, having an opinion poll type thing. Because that's what social media is. It's a social place. So if you're just throwing out a picture of you, holding your shake saying life is awesome, all right, what's going to make someone interested in trying that with you? Maybe if you're saying the shake makes me poop, the shake makes me happy, do you want to be regular too? Someone would be like, actually I do. I think I'm going to message Lauren, and always have a point with your posts. It does get hard sometimes, if your day gets really busy and you're like, oh my gosh, what am I going to put up? But it all goes back to something that I always tell my coaches, and it's your story, it's your message. And a good way to break your message into those chapters, and a good way to break them up for all of your audiences, is to identify 5 certain characteristics about yourself. So 5 things, which I call 5 things that are your brand. For me, my faith, my family, fitness and health, motivation, the military life. I actually have more than 5. Like my team, with value of Beachbody, and style, whatever. I don't really use that one that much because I'm not that stylish. But those are things that if I'm like stuck on a day, I'm like, okay, wait, let's go back. Maybe I should write a post about family. I haven't talked about that in a while. Or maybe I should write a post about military life because I really haven't written about that in a while. And what I actually do, this is what I do every week. I haven't done it this week yet because it's only Monday, but I plan out all of my posts. So I think about what's going on, and I'm like, okay, so today, for instance, I hung out with my friend Kara. I'm going to write a post about that. Write about friendship, military life, etc. Yesterday, I posted about my faith. The day before, I don't think I wrote that. I didn't actually do what I said I was going to post, but I kind of did. But it really just helps me to feel prepared, and actually, again, helps me to figure out a way to split my story up in unique and different ways. Another thing that they wrote down in this call or this talk was be intentional. Something I bet you've heard Danielle say is be interested, not interesting. And this goes in your conversation, but it also goes in your post. I mean, yeah, you want to grab people's attention, but you don't want to be so far-fetched and out of reach that someone's like, that's not attainable. I can't live like Jennifer does. She's too awesome. You need to be just awesome enough that people would be like, I could see myself just like that too. Also get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And this is something that I don't struggle with because I'm not a very private person. And my husband's a much more private person, so I'm kind of teaching him that it doesn't really matter. But that can really hold you back. If you're too worried about what people think of you or ruffling feathers, that's an area that you need to study about yourself. You need to plug into personal development. You need to figure out what is it that's holding you back from being completely authentic. Because if you're holding something back, you're not being real. You're just showing people what you're just peeling back layers that you think is okay. Does that make sense? Does that make sense, guys? And in this business, this business is a business that attracts people to you, and people need to gain your trust. And if you're only sharing a facade, then that facade is going to blow up in your face eventually. Anything that's not real is going to essentially come out. Doesn't that make sense? Any lie, it's going to turn out somehow. I feel like I have all these quotes in my head, but I just can't put my finger on the right way to say them. Okay, let's keep going down this list, and then I will hopefully slow down. Less is more, and simplicity is key. So this is something that Danielle and I have definitely learned over the course of the months of coaching, but your picture should capture people's attention. But, excuse me, burping is another side effect. Your pictures need to grab people's attention. I gotta keep it lively, right? But they don't need to, and every picture you post doesn't need to be the same. Mix it up with, putting words on pictures and just having pictures of yourself, because you don't want people to start expecting what you're going to post. So if you're someone who likes to use like cool quotes and stuff, put a cool quote in your post. It doesn't have to be on your picture, but have a captivating picture that makes them click on your post to read it. Because what ends up happening is if you have too many words on your picture, you're basically memeing yourself, and people are just going to read your picture and move on and miss your message. So play around with different ways to post, and always tie it back to Beachbody in some way. And this is still something that I'm working on, trying to figure out ways to like mention Beachbody. Some people say the company I partner with, Beachbody, or they might not even say Beachbody or any like program titles. I think you guys should, I don't know if all of you do this, but you should try not to mention the program. Be creative in saying this 3-week program, or I guess 21 Day Fix, or this insane program I just did, or this workout that only lasts 25 minutes. Because something I started noticing early in the beginning, and since most of you are in the beginning, is that people will look at your post and be like, oh, that's super cool, I'm going to go buy it on Amazon. I do it on Instagram all the time. If I see something that I like, I'll be like, oh my gosh, I'm going to totally like look that up and see if I can find a better deal. And you don't want to lose people that way. And you'd be surprised, you probably are losing people you don't even realize until you talk to them. And then they're like, oh yeah, I bought Pio because of you. It's happened to me. So I'm just like, so anyways, try that out. And then create opportunities to connect. And that goes back to creating call of action. And then this is the last thing that I got out of that call. It's not about selling a product. It's about connecting with people. It doesn't matter if someone goes with another coach. People who commit with you do so because you're good at sharing your story and they trust you. So I hope that this was helpful. Was there anything that that you guys wanted me to talk about more, or any questions you had? That's kind of all I really had for you today.
I'll ask if you guys are going to be quiet. Noelle, can you speak to how you kind of include Ryan in your business through posting, and how you make him a part of this journey?
Yeah, definitely. Early on, when I started, becoming Beachbody coach, I was super excited and spent every waking minute on Beachbody. I was on my phone religiously. And it became like a hindrance in my relationship with Ryan. He became very jealous and frustrated, and it was like, this business is taking you away from me. Like, I know it makes you happy, but it can't keep going on like this. And I was mad. I was like, how can he say something like this? Like, I'm finally like enjoying something about this part of my life. Like, why is he being so selfish? Blah, blah, blah. And then I watched a bunch of videos from top coaches about like how they included their spouses and stuff like that. And I realized, okay, I'm doing something different. My husband is feeling like this is taking, that he's losing a part of me, and that I'm growing without him. And that's not how you want to have a marriage. You do not want to be growing without your person, and you don't want that person feeling that way. So, I talked to some people, and I realized, okay, I need to make him feel like this is his too. And what I started doing was writing posts about my why. And my why is very tied into my future with Ryan. So, of course, this was my old vision board. And so I would talk about like my dreams, like, oh, I can't wait until the day that I could buy Ryan his bass boat that he sold for my engagement ring, stuff like that. I started talking to him about victories on my team that I was seeing, so that he understood, oh, okay, Noelle, the reason why Noelle is on her phone talking to this person right now is because they just hit diamond, and that's amazing. That's something worth celebrating. I started talking about, I mean, it really just comes down to talking about my future, talking about this message that I believe in. And the only way I could get there is having his support. So him seeing that support on social media, reading it and getting tagged in it and being like, oh, this Noelle is incorporating me, or Noelle sees me as a valuable part in this. I think that's really helped. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I just know that there's a bunch of you with spouses on here, so I thought that that was a good point to share.
What it really comes down to, again, with having your spouse is communicating. I had to realize that I was kind of overdoing it a lot, and that I wasn't respecting his time because my husband doesn't have that much time with me all the time. So, working on a power hour, having him understand that, ahead of time on my calendar, or on our little calendar out there, that I have a call at 5:30. So that means dinner is going to be a little bit late, and he understands that, which he's getting home right now. So he knows I'm on a call right now, I think. He should know. But that's why I have the calendar, so I can be like, I told you so. But it's a journey. There's gonna be highs, there's gonna be lows. But again, communicating with him, letting him celebrate with you when you want to, letting him, because your spouse has different skills than you have. Ryan is he just walked in. I don't have that much time. Stop, he's just trying to distract me. He can reason really well, where I'm like seeing everything black and white, or seeing all the gray area. He sees everything black and white, so he can really help me sometimes with, talking to people. Like, he'll just say, well, just invite them. I'm like, oh, what do I say? Just say, hey, join my team. Okay, hey, it worked. So, find ways to utilize their skills to help you, even if, like, you don't need them. Pretend. I've definitely done that. Anything else did you guys want to talk about? I wrote down breadcrumbing, and that's another way of sharing your story in layers. So leaving people wanting more. So sometimes doing like a before and after picture. If you're going to show your before and after, sometimes it's nice to be like, put a post like a couple hours before or a day before saying like, got a big reveal, come over to my page, I'm scared, must support me. Let your followers like check in with you, because it makes them want to see, like, oh, Lauren said that she's got this awesome recipe, I'm curious about what it is. Or post a picture of something that was delicious and say, hey, you want my recipe? Hit me up. I did that the other day and I had like 20 comments. It was pretty awesome. And also, don't be afraid to just show people what you're doing every day, even if it's like mundane, like going to the grocery store. You guys, they're playing, the dog is playing here, so you can hear all the squeaks. But okay, that's all I have, I think.
All right, you guys take the floor. She's all yours. I know you got to think of something.
I got another quote I could read. Your story is personal. Don't take negative feedback personally. There are some people who don't want to see you succeed, but there are so many more who will be impacted. So for every negative comment you receive, or any haters that, or not even that negative, but kind of like snide things like, oh, that's cute that you have this coaching job. Oh, that's cute that your husband lets you, play around and work out, or that is the dream job. Hope that you can keep it up. Those things kind of hurt, but yeah, most people don't have the courage that you have, and you're empowering people. Hey, Ryan, seriously, they can hear the squeaking, and it's not pleasant for me. I doubt it's pleasant for them. Yeah. Should play with her more. Lauren, what are you thinking about? Play with her in the other room, babe.
Can she unmute?
With her? She just brought me a toy and started squeaking.
I'm unmuted. So I do have a question. What do you think? I just always like to ask, like, just to get that different perspective from people. Do you think like cold invites work like better, or just the same, or maybe less than like starting a conversation with like and this is, I know like varies, because like I know for me, like I've had a cold invite work once, but definitely the people that I've like signed up already and like gotten on board are definitely people I knew, but I've just like started. So I don't know, like at this point, do the cold invites like really work, or would you say like more kind of starting the conversation slowly and then working your way into the invite is better?
I would say working your conversation quickly. Darren Hardy says that cold calls, and in my mind, cold invites are for rookies. And it's true. Yeah, they're going to work sometimes, but you don't want that to be your reputation. Because I think that personally, if someone is just like randomly just inviting people, you just have that reputation of being very salesy, and this isn't about that. And if you want to have real connections with your coaches or challengers, you need to know their goals. You need to know where they are, or else you're going to have a very unstable business. So going back to what I said, getting to your conversations quickly. What I made the mistake of, and sometimes I make the mistake of still, is not getting to talking about what I do fast enough, because what we do is interesting and kind of strange for most people. Like, I mean, most of us went to college or have like another sort of job on the side, and for them to be like, whoa, Monica, you're an accountant and you're a fitness person? No wonder you look so good in that dress. And be like, well, you could too. You know what I mean? So yes, you need to form with people first. You need to build their trust first. This is really weird. It says I don't have internet. Can you guys hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's so weird. It's like says I have no internet. Weird. Okay. Does that make sense? Is that helpful?
Yeah, that's great. That's what I figured, but it's always good to just
But the thing though is you need to get to a point where there are going to be some conversations that kind of just like die out, and you need to get to a point where, okay, it's going to be scary, but you've already talked to them. They already know what you do, so inviting them to a challenge group might feel like a cold invite, but it's not if you already put that groundwork and they're already kind of watching you. Okay. Other questions? Jen, you look bored. Am I boring you? Huh? I'm just kidding. You just had your hand on your face.
No, I have a question though.
Cool.
What do you do with people that are literally so excited to sign up and then they just don't talk to you again?
Okay,
Like,
so what is
fell off the face of the earth?
give me a typical like conversation. Like they say, yes, I'm ready. And then what do you say to them next?
Like, she reached out to me. It was after I posted something about paying off one of my student loans. And she's actually a mom, and she is in school. I understand she's probably busy, and I always try to give people, they're not on Facebook as much as we are.
Mm-hmm.
That's always like what I say to myself every single time that I talk to somebody. But she was like asking me so many questions. We were going back and forth, and she seemed interested in coaching as well. And then she literally just stopped. Like, that was it.
Well, one thing that you could start doing from here on out is asking someone when you're starting to talk to them. Like, I mean, you could even do this. Like, hey, I'm not on my phone. I'm going to be off the internet for a little while. Can I have your cell phone? Like, find a way to get someone's cell phone, because they are on that one more regularly, obviously. And yeah, she's a mom. Yeah, she's got other things. So if anything, that should be a red flag in your mind of, okay, if this person's hard to contact now, it's a sign that they might not be ready for this business the way that I
Uh-oh.
I'm sure she was going to say, oh, you cut out, Noelle.
Oh, sorry, it's okay. I'm here. It says I got internet again. What did you guys hear me say? Or not hear me say? I'll start over. Okay, number 1, try to get their cell phone. Get creative with that. Number 2, accepting the fact that she is really busy, and that means that she might not be the right coach for you right now. But that doesn't mean giving up on her. No. But accepting, all right, if she's this hard to contact, it's gonna be kind of tiring in the future. But number 3, also accepting that you're a special person, and she's asked you all these questions. You know what she wants. Therefore, send her a message. It doesn't matter if you send her a message every single day that's showing that you care, and be like, hey, Stacey, you said that you really need to find a way to, juggle being a mom and a student, and I really want to help you make some extra income. Is this still something you want to do with me? Next day, hey, I just wanted you to know that I am I'm finalizing my challenge group, and I'm saving you a spot. Do you still want it? Another day goes by. Hey girl, this is a good one. It's kind of self-deprecating, but it works. Like, hey, I'm really sorry if I came across too strong. I am new at this. I just want to make sure if I did anything to offend you, please let me know. And then people are like, oh my gosh, she thinks I'm mad at her. Jennifer's okay. I'm sorry. My baby angelic. It happens all the time. No one's ever been like, yeah, Noelle, you're such a jerk for messaging me and trying to care and help me out. So keep that in mind. Is that helpful?
Yeah.
But literally try that last one. It works. Doesn't it, Danielle?
All right. So I have 2 people that are like that, and I'm like, what are you guys doing?
No,
I have one girl's cell phone. She still doesn't answer.
But I mean, and the other thing too, and this has happened to me, is some people are scared, and they're scared of being held accountable, and so yeah, they might be avoiding you, and it happened to me. Like, I had a girl who dropped off of the face of the earth, and I finally, after being like, hey, what's going on? Are you okay? She admitted, I felt like a failure because everyone was doing so well in their program, and I struggle with getting up every morning to do it. And I was like, dude, that's what I'm here for. And now she's doing it again. But it does sometimes take constantly, reaching out.
What else, guys?
I gave a lot of good nuggets. So obviously.
You're just stumped, obviously.
Was that helpful? Did you guys learn anything? Did I talk too fast?
Hey, this is Claire. I don't know if my thing is working or not.
Yeah. No, I don't see your face, but I hear your voice.
Okay. Yeah. Troubles of my mess, I guess I should say. I was wondering if you could share that kind of little breakdown that you just talked about, because I've been trying to do something like that similarly. And I think that's an awesome approach. I've been using the word, I didn't mean to offend recently. And yeah, you'll be surprised the number of people that will respond to that. But I'm just curious if you could I don't know if you have an example or could share a conversation that was similar to that.
Noelle, why don't you just copy paste something to me and I'll post it in the page later.
Okay, yeah. Give me a couple days to think about that, because I gotta think about a person. But I mean, the first thing that we all have to remember is, it's kind of like what Jennifer said. Yeah, not everyone's on Facebook, but it's not about us. And I think that's the first thing to take away that fear and that insecurity. If someone's not talking to you, it's not you, it's them. If someone isn't doing their challenge group or their workout, it's not you, it's them. And the only thing that we can do is what we do every day. Sharing that. Sometimes it's hard for you to wake up in the morning and get your workout done. But when you do, you feel amazing. That is a sense of encouragement for that one person that might be struggling. Or maybe making a post about the power of yes and how that's a scary and difficult thing to do. But it's worth it, because overcoming a fear, getting on the other side of that yes, there's greatness, anytime you're feeling an objection, or did we lose Claire? Oh no, Claire's still there. Anytime you're facing an objection or some sort of frustration in this business, it's a great indicator that that's a post you should be writing about, or that's something you need to study and overcome, so it's no longer an objection. One thing that our coach always used to tell me is that she never gets price objections, ever. She's never got a price objection. And I was like, what? I get price objections every other day. And, it took me time studying objections on price and how to overcome them so that they weren't as frequent as they were before. I just can't say I've never gotten them. And maybe she's finally gotten them, but at the time, do you remember that, Danielle?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what? Anyways.
One more question for you to close it out, because there's 2.5 minutes left. Can you talk about posting like that big, vulnerable, scary post inside of you and how it kind of expands that comfort zone in your mindset? Because I think we all have something inside of us that we're still scared to share.
It goes back to remembering the other person on the other side of the screen, sharing things that are personal and vulnerable. It's kind of therapeutic. You know, when I was talking about my first year of marriage and all that kind of stuff and like being depressed, like that was scary because my mom didn't even know that. Or like I didn't want Ryan's mom to know that like I used to be angry at Ryan. Like she could use that against me. She's kind of that type of person. But for all those people where I was scared about, I knew that there would be more people who would benefit from it. Even if it's just people on my team, even if it's just my fellow coaches, seeing me putting myself out there as an example. And even if no one ever read it, it's therapeutic for me to like let that out instead of holding pain inside, sharing it and sharing how you're overcoming it. I mean, that's the thing. Like, you can't just be like, I'm depressed, I want to cut my wrist. You have to be like, I was depressed and wanted to cut my wrists until I found Beachbody, which is not my story. Sorry. I was just trying to find something, a dramatic example. That was awful. That was really awful. I'm sorry.
Finishing on a positive note, though, I think is what she's trying to say. Always putting a positive spin.
Whatever your mess is, making sure that you're showing that you're overcoming it, that's what you got to do.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Noelle. I think we all really appreciate it of you giving your time, and I hope you guys kick some butt this last week of February. Keep doing what you're doing.
You guys are awesome. Keep it up.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Have a good week.